Well, my name's Rosemary Theobald. I first came to Hexa with my fiancé at the time, who had a job at Procter & Gamble in Newcastle. That was a new job. And that was in 1961. And I got a job as a teacher at one of the local private schools, and it was a boarding school, so I lived there. And my fiancé lived on the Seal. And that very first winter that we arrived was the very famous winter with snow, loads and loads of snow and high drifts on the road from Allendale to Hexham. And having moved from somewhat south of here, I just thought, oh, well, that's the way it is in the north. And but of course it wasn't like that at all. And we don't, in some years like this one, really, we don't have snow at all. When I first arrived, my first impressions of Hexham, I actually fell in love with Hexham straight away. People were really friendly, and I was just interested in the history of the buildings and the look of the buildings. And of course, the Queen's Hall was made into a theatre, and the Forum Cinema was brought back as a cinema. During recent times, really. Well, there wasn't a farmer's market in those days, but there was a shop in Market Street called Edible Options, and it was a whole food shop. In fact, there were a couple of those in Hexham, which was new, the idea of whole foods. And my husband was an excellent beekeeper. I worked on that with him in any spare time that we had, really, extracting the honey, which was something we had to do every in August and September every year, when the heather honey particularly came in. So Edible Options, a lot of our honey was sold there. It's an inevitable part, I think, of getting older, because you do look back and I think I feel we must have seen more change in our lifetime. I was born in 1940. So, a bit about the war, the aftermath of the war. Inevitably, because you've seen so much change, you think about, well, what's been the good things, and mostly, to me, it's good. The community partnership introduced events in the town. It was sort of under Hexham Happening, or some such title as that. And Hexham Partnership introduced, I think maybe the first one was Spook Night, which has become very popular, and the Christmas market, and then the spring market. And I have been part of that events activity for a number of years, and I still deliver the partnership newsletter around the shops, which has the dates on of when these events are happening. And the idea is that the town benefits from the footfall that happens because of extra people coming into the town for those events. As I said, another one that I particularly got involved with was Edible Hexham. It was about the whole climate agenda, really, and grow your own, as opposed to the air miles involved in importing a lot of stuff. And we still have planters around the town, on the station forecourt, in the entrance to the Seal Park. We had some in front of the former council building, Prospect House. I've seen the old jail, much improved with the ability of a lift in there, so that there's something happening about Hexham's history on each of the floors. And I go with my grandchildren every so often just to catch up on that. Hexham Abbey as well. Bringing more and more people into the Abbey became a definite something that the rectors wanted to do, and schools work was introduced so that children came from all the neighbouring village schools, and they'd come for the day and they'd learn about the Abbey, and they'd learn about how the monks lived and how the monks with their writing, and it was hands-on. They did all these activities, singing and the scriptorium and so on. And increasingly, the Abbey put something on every half term to encourage families and children to come in. So there are concerts in the Abbey as well. And exhibitions. So definitely that's been a huge benefit to the town, as much, as the theatre and the cinema.